You never get used to the silence of the Janet flight. It's 4:15 a.m., and you are sitting in an unmarked Boeing 737, ascending from a private terminal at Harry Reid International. Below you, the neon arteries of Las Vegas are fading into the suffocating darkness of the Nevada desert. The cabin is full, but no one is talking. There are no flight attendants offering coffee. There are no magazines in the seat pockets. Just 30 other men and women staring blankly at the seatbacks in front of them, bound by the heaviest non-disclosure agreements ever drafted by the United States government. You are a materials engineer. You have a doctorate from MIT. You used to publish papers, go to conferences, and dream of changing the world. Now, you are a ghost. You don't exist in any public directory. Your family thinks you analyze structural stress for a mid-level aerospace contractor. They think your life is boring. If only they knew how much you crave a genuinely boring life. The plane banks sharply, and the dry, barren expanse of Groom Lake comes into view. Area 51. The world thinks it's a joke, a meme, a place where little green men are kept in glass jars. You know the truth. The truth isn't cinematic. It's a soul-crushing, bureaucratic nightmare wrapped in razor wire and buried under millions of tons of concrete. The wheels touch down, and the machinery of your daily existence swallows you whole. You step off the tarmac and enter the first of 7 security checkpoints. They don't just check your badge. They check your biometric signature, your retinal patterns. Use the very weight of your body to ensure you haven't smuggled anything out, or worse, brought something unapproved in. The air inside the underground facility smells faintly of ozone, bleach, and stale coffee. It's a scent that permanently lives in your sinuses. You descend to sublevel 4. This is your world. It's a windowless, sterile environment illuminated by harsh fluorescent lights that hum with a maddening, low-frequency vibration. The operation here relies on absolute, impenetrable compartmentalization. You are a cog in a machine so vast you can't even perceive its outline. The golden rule is simple. You only know what you need to know to complete the task in front of you. You don't ask the propulsion guys what they are working on. You don't ask the biological containment team why their sector is suddenly locked down for 3 weeks. Curiosity isn't just frowned upon. It is considered an active threat to national security. You are paid astronomically well. The money is deposited into offshore accounts, clean and untraceable. It's the ultimate bribe. The system strokes your ego, telling you that you are the elite, the chosen few entrusted with the vanguard of human discovery. You walk around with a sense of manufactured superiority, believing you are part of a shadow priesthood safeguarding the future. But that's just the illusion of power. The reality is that you are a highly educated janitor, sweeping up the fragments of impossibilities and trying to fit them into the limited boxes of terrestrial physics. Your current assignment is an irregularly shaped piece of dark, matte slag. The documentation calls it Artifact 7 Alpha. It doesn't look like much, and it looks like a piece of burned carbon from a localized industrial fire. But when you place it under the electron microscope, the universe breaks. The atomic structure doesn't align with any known periodic table elements. The material doesn't reflect light. It absorbs it entirely, creating a localized void on your examination table. You test its tensile strength, and the machinery breaks before the material even bends. You apply extreme heat, and it immediately drops the temperature of the surrounding air to near absolute zero. It violates the laws of thermodynamics. It violates everything you were taught, but you don't panic. You methodically document the data, sign the endless reams of digital paperwork, and hand it over to your superior, a man who wears a cheap suit and has eyes like dead glass. For the first 2 years, this routine is intoxicating. The thrill of touching the unknown is a drug, but then the drug turns to ash in your mouth. The trap springs not with an explosion, but with a quiet, terrifying realization. It happens on a Tuesday. You are running a complex electromagnetic resonance test on Artifact 7 Alpha. You aren't supposed to deviate from the testing protocol, but you notice a rhythmic fluctuation in the data, a pattern. Your scientific instinct overrides your conditioning. You alter the frequency of the scanner just a fraction of a percent. The monitor flickers, and for exactly 4 seconds, the data translates into a visual rendering of the material's internal structure. It's not a static alloy. The internal architecture is shifting, adapting to the scan. It's synthetic, yes, but it's behaving like a neural network. It has synapses. It's processing the fact that you are looking at it. It is, in some incomprehensible way, aware. You freeze. The blood drains from your face. The implication hits you like a physical blow. The government hasn't recovered a crashed vehicle. They have recovered a dormant biological-technological interface, and they have no idea how to control it. You make a mistake. A fatal, irreversible mistake. You don't delete the scan. You save a microscopic fragment of the data on a secure, partitioned drive within the lab's intranet, intending to analyze it further. You thought you were being careful. You thought your clearance protected you. You were wrong. Within 14 minutes, the heavy steel door of your laboratory slides open. It isn't your immediate supervisor, it's two men in tactical gear with no insignias. Accompanied by a man in a tailored gray suit who doesn't introduce himself. They don't draw weapons. They don't yell. The silence is far more violent. They unplug your workstation. They escort you out of the lab, past your colleagues, who immediately avert their eyes, suddenly fascinated by their own empty screens. No one says a word. You are a contagion, and they don't want to catch whatever it is that just killed your career. They take you to a room on sub-level 8. You didn't even know sub-level 8 existed. There is a metal chair, a steel table, and a mirror that is obviously two-way. For the next 36 hours, you do not sleep. You do not eat. The man in the gray suit speaks to you in a voice that is polite, calm, and utterly devoid of humanity. He doesn't ask you what you found. He already knows. He asks you why you deviated from the protocol. He asks you about your elderly mother in Ohio. He names her street. He names the specific brand of dog food she buys. He recites your bank account numbers, your internet search history from a decade ago, the name of your first grade teacher. He is dismantling your identity, piece by piece, showing you that you are entirely transparent to them. They strap you to a polygraph, but it's not the standard machine. It's a medical-grade physiological monitor. They inject you with a mild chemical cocktail that makes your heart race and your skin crawl. They want to know if you memorized the pattern. They want to know if you formed a conceptual attachment to the artifact. You realize then, with crushing clarity, that you aren't an employee anymore. You are a biological hard drive containing highly classified, unauthorized data, and the United States government does not let compromised hard drives walk out of secure facilities. The psychological torture is meticulous. They don't break your bones, they break your grip on reality. They make you question if you actually saw the pattern, or if the isolation and the fluorescent lights have induced a localized psychosis. You begin to doubt your own sanity. You agree to everything they say. Yes, it was an equipment malfunction. Yes, you were experiencing extreme stress. Yes, you require a mandatory readjustment period. When they finally let you out of that room, you are fundamentally changed. You are allowed to return to your off-base apartment. But the apartment no longer feels like yours. The silence of your living room is deafening. You stare at the television, but the images make no sense. You wait for the click on your phone line. You check the air vents for microscopic cameras. You stop sleeping. When you do drift off, you dream of the artifact, its dark, shifting structure expanding to consume the entire world. Every unmarked white van that passes you on the street makes your chest tighten. Every time your phone rings, you expect to hear that calm, dead voice telling you it's time to come back to sub-level 8. The paranoia becomes your permanent roommate. You realize the ultimate horror of the submundo you've entered. There is no exit strategy. The clearance level you worked so hard to achieve isn't a badge of honor. It's a leash. You know too much to be allowed to live a normal life, but you are too broken to be trusted with the real secrets anymore. They transfer you to a different department. You are no longer working with the exotic materials. You are assigned to review endless logs of atmospheric radiation anomalies. It's busy work. Meaningless, mind-numbing busy work designed to keep you occupied, under surveillance, and out of the way. You are a prisoner in a golden cage, earning a fortune you can never spend without raising red flags. You can't quit. If you quit, you become an unmonitored liability. People who become liabilities have accidents. They drive off dark desert highways. They suffer sudden, massive heart attacks. They simply cease to exist. Years bleed into one another. The vibrant, ambitious engineer who boarded that Janet flight so long ago is dead, replaced by a hollow shell that mechanically goes through the motions of existence. You sit on the porch of your isolated desert home, watching the sun sink below the jagged horizon. The sky bleeds red and purple, but you can't appreciate the beauty anymore. You look up at the stars as they begin to pierce the twilight. Humanity looks at those stars with wonder, hoping for contact, hoping we aren't alone in the dark. But you know the truth. They are already here, and their remnants are locked in underground vaults, guarded by men with dead eyes. The universe is vast, terrifying, and incomprehensible, but humanity's response wasn't awe. It was to bury the infinite under endless layers of bureaucracy, classifications, and quiet threats. You take a sip of your lukewarm coffee. Tomorrow, you will wake up at 3:30 a.m. You will board the silent plane. You will swipe your badge. You will maintain the lie. Because the lie is the only thing keeping you breathing. You are a guardian of a secret that has already destroyed you. That's all for today. The story you just heard is fiction, but the reality of highly cleared engineers trapped within black projects and deeply compartmentalized government programs happens every day. The psychological toll of absolute secrecy is a burden few can carry. If this story made you think, leave a comment below telling me what your biggest takeaway was. Subscribe so you don't miss the next journey into the subworld. Until next time.